Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 23. So I am pre-recording this season simulation, but obviously it's because I'm really curious on how some of these guys are going to simulate. But if you didn't catch the last episode, we pretty much kept the team mostly the same. We did lose a couple key pieces like Byron Farrell. We lost him on the forward core. We also did lose a couple defensemen like Kalinin, but our team is looking pretty good. We did bring back a couple former players in the free agency market near the end of the offseason just because we needed to fill out our defensive core. So returning to the team, Trey Farrell, coming off a loss to us in the conference finals last year with Colorado. He actually had a really good playoffs too. So yeah, he is joining the team back again. Keegan Strachan also returned again. He was still also a free agent after we let him go. And Shannon Eichel also has returned again for another season. So his defensive core still pretty similar to where it was last year. Obviously, Trey Farrell I don't think is as good defensively, as Kalinin was, but it's still a pretty solid defensive core nonetheless. And then goalie-wise, obviously we're a little bit worse than we were in the past, but we were given a shot to Slava Novikov, and also Aiden Taze is going to get a chance to still play as the backup this season just because of his numbers last year in the playoffs. So pretty much goaltending is going to stay mostly the same, except for obviously Koskinen is gone now. And our forward core is pretty similar. Like I said in set 4 that we did lose Byron Farrell. So our center depth is not as good. Like LaRose is going to have to take draws on the third line, but he has 76 out faceoffs, so he should be okay to do that on that third line. Other than that, though, our forward core looks pretty solid as it normally does. Like, we still have pretty much like 3 really good lines and a solid fourth line, so it's pretty much just our defensive core that's a little bit meh. So we should be able to make the playoffs hypothetically this year, unless for some reason Novikov is not that good of an NHL goalie, but it's taken him a long time to get to this point. He's had 3 years in the AHL, and he's had 1 NHL game before in the playoffs, which he won, which I believe was a Game 7 situation, if I'm not mistaken, when we lost to the Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals. But yeah, he was not that great in that game, but he still got the win, so it's going to be interesting to see what he could do this season for us. And then, yeah, Aiden Taze, hopefully he could do what he did last year in the playoffs, because that was a playoff game, or playoff series and playoff run for the ages with him, so obviously he's probably getting close to retirement, which is not great either. But anyways, let's get into the season simulation and see what this team does. We also have Joe Thornton back still as our head coach, which is good because obviously he was our head coach that won the Stanley Cup with us. We had him for like 2 years before he won a Stanley Cup, so he's not got a lot of NHL experience as a head coach, but he's won a Stanley Cup already, which is pretty nuts. So yeah, let's get through this preseason, see what we do, and then hopefully regular season-wise we get some interesting stats. Hopefully some of these guys don't drop off more. Like Jorgensen might drop off a lot more this season because I think he is getting close to retirement, if I'm not mistaken. I should actually take a look at what his potential looks like right now, because if it still has elite potential, he should be able to still play a little bit longer. I think it was at top 6 last time I looked, actually. Let's see if it's at top 9, because if it dropped down to top 9, and he might end up retiring at like 35. He's still at top 6, but by the end of the season, it might be a top 9, so we got to keep that in note. I don't want to lose Jorgensen to retirement necessarily, but obviously losing him would be good in a sense for this team, because look at that cap hit. It's not that great for an 84, but obviously he deserves to retire with this team, and that's why we gave him that contract a couple years back. So we went 5-3 in the preseason, and Derek Keith led the team in points with 10 points in 8 games. Hopefully Keith can get back to his ways that he was doing before, because last year in the playoffs he was not that good. So if he could get back to that way in the playoffs this upcoming year, maybe we have a chance at being another good team in the playoffs, or maybe it'll be a first round exit, who knows. Okay, let's go to January 1st and see what we're looking like halfway through the season, but we should be pretty automatic, I think, in making the playoffs. It just depends on this defensive core if it's going to do good again, because it's pretty much the same, like I said, as last year. And then the goaltending is definitely a little bit worse, but it looks like we're winning games. Offense seems to be doing really well to start the season. We lost our first few games, but ever since then, we've been picking up points in like almost 10 straight games. So there's our first regulation loss in quite some time. Yeah, we're off to a good start, which is always good. But now we're losing a couple games. There's an OT win over Pittsburgh, shootout loss, so at least it's a point. Yeah, looking pretty good. considering we're running a rookie goaltender as their starter, I think, because I think Taze is going to end up getting less starts just because he's a 79 to Novikov's 80. But yeah, it looks like our offense is still doing pretty good, even with the loss of Byron Farrell, who was really solid as like a third/second line center for his team. I don't even know where he signed, and I didn't even take a look at some of our new guys, but oh well. Yeah, I should take actually a look at where he signed at this point. So what are we looking like in terms of the standings? We are second in our division, 22-10-4. Only 1 point back of the Ducks for first place. And Parrot's off to a really good pace. 37 points in 36 games isn't outrageous, but 26 goals in 36 games is really solid. Like, he might have a 50-goal season in his bag this year, which would be good. Let's take a look at where Farrell signed, because I actually should have done that at the start of this episode, but I completely forgot. Let's see, player search. Also where Koska ran assigned, I guess. And Kalinin too. Let's actually take a look at Kalinin first, because it's important to know where our guys went up after we won the Stanley Cup. So Kalinin signed with the Dallas Stars, so he's playing now with Bickle in Dallas. Only $4.06 million, so he could have probably brought him back, which is unfortunate, but whatever. At least it's only a one-year deal, so he might be back in free agency next year. And Koska, let's take a look at him, and then we'll take a look at Farrell. Watch, Farrell's going to have an outrageous season this year, and I'm going to miss out on it, but oh well. Koska, the goaltender, is also in Dallas. Why did everybody go to Dallas? 1 year also, 3.9. That's funny. So 2 of our former players signed with the Dallas Stars to play with Bickle. So it looks like we're going to definitely, if we play Dallas in the playoffs, it's going to be interesting because a lot of former players there. And Byron Farrell, where did he go? Let's see. Byron Farrell went to Arizona. Okay. On a 3-year deal at 5.2. That's actually a pretty good contract. I would have definitely signed him to that. I actually could have had the cap space to sign him, but unfortunately I didn't do that. Oh well. So there is where our former players went, just in case you guys wanted an update on that, because like I said, it completely slipped my mind when I started up this episode, but oh well. So yeah, so far so good. Team looks decent. Let's continue simulating. We're probably having good depth scoring if only one of our guys is over point per game. Let's just get the rest of the season done with. So let's go to March 1st, and then we will simulate the last month or so. But yeah, right now it looks like we're going to be a playoff team again this year, which is good sign. But obviously I don't think we're going to win a Stanley Cup again this year. Unless for some weird reason we could, Taze could go off again, or Novikov's a really good playoff goalie or something like that. Who knows? Anything's possible once you get into the playoffs, because like literally our defensive core last year when we won the Stanley Cup was not good enough to win a Stanley Cup, but it ended up doing it. Even though our defensive core, when it was much better, did not win a Stanley Cup. So we're having a lot of losses in the shootout this season. We have almost as much like extra frame losses as we do regulation losses, which is weird. But I mean, at least our team is winning a lot too. Let's continue past this. Don't care about the trade deadline at all. But 33, 20, and 10. It's kind of a weird record, to be honest. Where are we in terms of the standings? Just above the wild card spot with 76 points. But at least some of these teams that are far out of it, like the last wild card has 69 points. So we're still in a good spot, even though we kind of slid a little bit in the last month. And Derek Keith is leading the team in points now with 63 points in 63 games. So yeah, hopefully Keith has a good playoffs ahead of him if we make the playoffs. That is, because we could still fall back out of the playoff mix, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's go to the 20th. It's probably because we don't have as good of goaltending as we did in the past, because technically Koska is a good starting goaltender overall-wise, but he's not a good goaltender in terms of simulations. So yeah, we're kind of losing quite a bit of games lately. 37, 25, and 10, and we're in a wild card spot now. Who knows, though? We could still win a Stanley Cup in a wild card spot. The last team that's not in a playoff spot has 80 points right now, and then there's some that are at 78. So it's getting a little bit tight here near the end of the season. It's kind of scary. Knowing my luck, we're definitely going to end up somehow missing the playoffs here right near the end of the season. But like I said, this is more about wrapping up players' careers and all that type of thing. Let's go to this game on the 31st against the Islanders. And we lose another game there. Goddamn, guys. Wake up a little bit. There you go. There's 3 straight wins. Okay. That's huge for us getting into the playoffs, obviously. Let's go to April the 1st. And there's a loss to the Islanders. We got 5 games left on the season. Keith is almost at 80 points already, so he's definitely going to be over point per game, I think, this season. But wildcard spot with 90 points. Last wildcard spot has 86 points. Yeah, I think we definitely are close to clinching, which is good. Obviously, I don't mind making the playoffs. It's just all about seeing if this team could actually like find a way to win another Stanley Cup. Let's do 3 games, see if we could get some wins here. A loss, that's not great. Another loss, that's not great. And another loss. Oof. Oof. What are we doing, boys? 3 goals also in our last 3 games. Yikes. Oh boy, there's 2 teams outside the playoffs with 89 points. We have 2 games left, so the max we could get is 94. The max the Coyotes could get is more than that because they have 3 games played. They have a game in hand and 1 less point than us. We need to win games. Let me go to our edit lines here. Maybe make a line change. I honestly don't know why our team is all of a sudden losing games, but let's flip around some things. Can Jorgensen win faceoffs? He can't. We'll put him on our 3rd line center for now. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Also, let's flip-flop parroting Hartnell on sides, and defensively, let's do something like that. Yikes. I don't know why our team's all of a sudden losing games. It's probably the goaltending. That's the only thing I could think of. And then the lack of offense seems to be a bit of a problem over the last 3 games. But we need to win these in the last 2 games of the season because the Coyotes could jump us. And if the Coyotes jump us, Byron Farrell's going to get into the playoffs and we're not. What are we looking like standings-wise? Oh, the Coyotes played a game and they lost. That's huge. That is huge. The max they could finish off with now is 93 points. So we still need to win these last 2 games technically of the season if possible. And wow, after beating them in the 2nd round last year, the Kraken have fallen off a lot. Poor Zikov, 38, 37, and 4. Jeez, so we should be able to win this game. Let's see if we win this game. Come on, boys. Oh my goodness, another loss. That's not good. That is not good at all. We're in the last wildcard spot, I think, now. I think it comes down to this game. Because we are at 90 points in 81 games with 2 less wins in regulation than the Canucks do. If the Canucks win this game, I think they could get into the playoffs too. We're probably in there because of our OW. Coyotes are now in the playoff spot, and the Wild could get in the playoff spot as well. Yeah, there's a lot relying on this last game of the season. We need to win this game against Chicago, or else we're going to miss the playoffs after winning the Stanley Cup. Which will be the first time we've missed the playoffs in quite some time, I think. Let's make sure our lineup is ready to go for this game. What do we want to do here? Let's try something drastic. And put Parrott as center again. Put Keith as 2nd line center. We'll put Darby as a top line winger. We'll put Claxton as a 3rd line center. Reunite Jorgensen with Keith and Bobkov. Yeah, we'll do something like this. Okay, we'll try balancing this out a little bit more. Yeah, we'll try balancing this out a little bit more. And yeah, that's good. Aiden Tays will start this crucial game. We'll do a real-time simulation because, yeah, if we lose this game, I think we miss the playoffs. Because the other teams that are fighting for it, more likely one of them will win. So we technically need to win this game. Chicago is also really close to us in the standings, it looks like. Yeah, they're at 88 points, so they could technically make the playoffs as well, I think. But they have less ROW, so I don't know if they're eliminated yet or not. But here we go. This is a big, big game. We'll do a real-time simulation. Can we win this game and get back to the playoffs? I think it's a must-win opportunity here. We just need our big guys to step up. Ryan Danner opens the scoring. Let's go, Danner. So a huge way to start off this crucial game, and then we give up a short-handed goal to that franchise player that used to play for the Canucks and the Sabres in Magnuson. Damn, we're out shooting him pretty badly, but it's a 1-1 game. I don't like that. Shots are 15-3 going into the 2nd period. Come on, guys. We need somebody to step up here. We need at least a point in this game to give us our chance. But 2 points is more important. Because I feel like another team's going to end up winning the game, and that's... Yeah, this is an interesting season for us. Hey, there you go. Ricardo Hartnell gives us the lead. That's a huge goal from Ricardo. Final few minutes here of the 2nd period. And we have a 2-1 lead, outshooting him 20-14. So they kind of got more shots in that period, but we have the lead. Let's get some insurance and lock down this game. This almost feels like a playoff game in a sense, because if we just barely get in, who knows what could happen, and they tie it up, but we get a goal right back. Good job, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Bomeister with a huge goal, and they get one right back. God damn it, and they got the lead. Oh no, Taze. Taze, why are you doing this, boy? I know you just won us a Stanley Cup, but come on. I think we're going to miss the playoffs here. Unless we could tie it up here late. No, we cannot. And we end up losing the last few games of the season, and I think we're going to miss the playoffs here by a hair. Yeah, I think we're going to end up losing this playoff chance. It's all about those other teams. Hopefully all of them lost. But we had a lead. And then, yeah, that cunning guy took over pretty much. Wow, Hartnell has 42 goals on the season. Damn. Didn't want to take a look at that yet, but still. Did we get into the playoffs, or did we miss because of a losing streak near the end of the season? We have missed the playoffs. God damn it. We have missed the playoffs because of that last game of the season. The Canucks also missed out, and the Wild managed to get into the playoffs. Just barely. They get one more point than us. We missed by the skin of our teeth after winning the Stanley Cup. Oh well. Like I said, it's not the end of the world because we won already a Stanley Cup, so at least I feel a little bit better about that. But man. So letting go of Koskinen and then having to rely on Novikov and stuff like that definitely hurt our team, it looks like. But we missed the playoffs after winning the Stanley Cup with a pretty similar roster almost in a sense. Damn. Actually, we're not done the season fully. We need to get the other AI teams done. That sucks by that much. Like, it was literally by the skin of our teeth. If we would have won that game to overtime, we would have probably been in the playoff spot too. But we couldn't do it. Let's take a look at the team stats because we could see what went wrong with this team, and then we'll simulate up to the awards and all that stuff as well. Take a look at our player stats. Montreal won the President's Trophy this year, huh? That was the team that got to the... No, they didn't get to the finals in this series. That was in my Chicago series, I think. Oh, wow. Yeah, we were up there at 14th, and somehow Boston, who finished 17th, got into the playoffs. Wow, that's really unfortunate this season. Like, we had points in 50 of our 82 games, and we missed the playoffs. God damn it. Goals for per game, we are one of the best offensive teams, yet we missed the playoffs. And goals against per game-wise, we were one of the best defensive teams in the NHL still. I'm surprised that we missed the playoffs then. I didn't think we were going to be that good of a defensive team, but we were... Basically, Winnipeg was ungodly defensively, and then every other team was pretty close. Damn. Power play percentage-wise, our power play was up there, yet we missed the playoffs. And our penalty kill was also really good. We were good at everything, top 10 and everything, and we missed the playoffs. EA gonna EA sometimes, but oh well. 6 shorthanded goals as well. 22, 14, and 5 on home ice, but 18, 18, and 5 on the road. So maybe our road record is definitely why. And also, yeah, that last 10 games definitely knocked us out of the playoff one. 3 and 7 down the stretch. You think we would have the experience factor, but that didn't really help out at all. And we have missed the playoffs after winning the Stanley Cup. Goddamn. Let's take a look at these player stats, though, because I am still curious on a lot of this type of thing. So, Derek Keith, 83 points. Fantastic season from him, and a plus 26. There's his player stats. This is the first time we've missed the playoffs, and I don't know how long. Looks like since... When was the last time we missed? In Eric Keith's entire playoff career. Yeah, I think it's been a long time since we missed the playoffs. But yeah, Derek Keith is still consistently an 80-point guy, which is great. Obviously, you need that. Parrott had 47 goals this year, but 76 points only. But still, 47 goals. He's up to 558 in his career. He is getting close to beating my all-time record. I think my all-time record is like 600-something. And he still has that elite potential, so he probably won't be retiring still for a couple of years, it looks like. Ricardo Hartnell, 72 points, 42 goals this year from Ricardo. I am so glad we have him locked up for 5 more years, or 4 more seasons, I guess. He's been definitely getting better as he's gotten older. Yeah, very solid player. 1 more goal than he has assist in his career, too, now. Claxton, 68 points this year. Damn, yeah, our offensive depth was really good. Claxton is still a fantastic player. Even when we gave him more money, he's been living up to that. I really like Claxton. 554 points now in his career. Not the best defensive player, but yeah, still solid. Wong, 36 points, not too bad. Reinhardt, 17 points. Not bad, but definitely lower than the past. Darby, 58 points, not too bad. Bobkov, 47 points in his second season in the NHL, third season in the NHL. Huh. Interesting. And Hagos had 12 points. Sabern had 8 points. Only 44 penalty minutes for the enforcer. Damn. This guy doesn't really do much in terms of physical play. Only 4 fights for the enforcer. Damn. Ethan Sabern is disciplined. That's interesting. He only had 17 shots on goal in that season because he's an enforcer. It's funny. But yeah, I didn't overlook Darby's stats. 32 goals is really solid. We had like 3 30-goal scorers. There you go. And then right wing wise, Jorgensen still hit 62 points this year. Not bad. And he is still listed as a top 6 and still 84 overall, but I feel like he is close to retirement. Yeah, his offense is definitely dipped off. Now he's just more of a 60-point guy. Damn. And then LaRose, 37 points. Not terrible, but still not outrageously good. Like last year, he had 22 goals, and this year he regressed down to 11 goals. Defensively, Danner had 58 points this year. He could potentially be in the Norris hunt this year. He could potentially be. Not too bad. Bouwmeester had 30 points. He had 13 goals. That's a career high in goals for him. And then Eichel hit 30 points. Wow, Eichel hitting 30 points is very impressive. He was a former 7th round pick. And yeah, he did that. Pretty solid. And then he had 26 points. That's really solid as well. Farrell came back to us, played good defensively and all that, and had 22 points. And Strachan had 17 points and a +4. The only minus player was Eichel on our defensive core. And then goalie-wise, Novikov in his rookie season was not bad. A 909 and a 2.69, and unfortunately for Aiden Tays, even though he had a winning record, yeah, he might be regressing kind of hard here. Because, yeah, his last 2 seasons haven't been great in terms of the regular season numbers, but his playoff numbers have been good. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, Aiden Tays, you were the man last year, but now you're probably regressing a little bit. That's my guess. Let's take a look at player stats around the entire league. So, Marshall Brashear led the league in points. This guy, I believe we could have drafted him. I think. 104 points. Colin Schneider's second with 101 points. Mark Louis, damn, Arizona. Looking good. Wonder if any former players are going to win a Stanley Cup this year. Best goal scorer of the season was Bickle. Oh boy, Frederick Bickle is going to win a Richard. That is insane. Frederick Bickle is dropping off too. Wow. He's down to top 6 potential and he's only 33. So Frederick Bickle might end up retiring soon. But he just had a 57 goal season, which is his best goal total of his entire NHL career. So shout out to Frederick Bickle. He's only signed for 1 more year, so we could technically maybe bring him back in the offseason if he doesn't get re-signed by Dallas. But he might demand a lot of money after 57 goals. So, wow. Wasn't expecting him to be the guy to win the Richard this year. Best defenseman for points was a guy in Dallas, Devin Lawrence. Oh yeah, that elite guy that we played last year in the playoffs. Okay, that makes sense. Boris Zikov was up there in points, but his team was terrible. He was minus 19. Ryan Danner definitely was up there for the Norris, but unfortunately he doesn't have a 71-point season, so he's not going to win the Norris, but he definitely was in consideration, I should say, because of the defensive play. Because Sea-Doo and Zikov I'd have probably below him because of the plus-minus. Best goalie this season, Kuparainen in Montreal. Koska in Dallas. Oh boy. You got to be joking me. He's probably not going to do good in the playoffs, so watch. Once you get up to like the awards and stuff like that, I doubted Dallas is going to win a Stanley Cup. If Dallas wins a Stanley Cup this year, I'd be impressed, but Koska, really solid numbers. Pretty similar numbers actually to when he was with us. But watch, his playoff numbers are not going to be good. We'll see if he wins the Stanley Cup with Dallas or not. And Harry Neal's up there too. This is just like a reunion of all our former players, huh? God damn. Most shutouts, Barnaby in Philly. Most best save percentage by a starter, Harry Neal. Harry Neal might end up being a favorite for the Vezina. Yep, Harry Neal's going to win a Vezina, I think, which is awesome because, I mean, he did win a Stanley Cup against us, so that was kind of unfortunate as a backup goaltender. But, yeah, Harry Neal was a third-round pick, and likely he's going to win a Vezina near the end of his career, which is pretty dope. Best rookie this year for points. Whew, that franchise guy had 90 points in his rookie season. 50 goals. God damn. Talk about having a great rookie season. Yeah, that guy's going to be a stud. Oh my goodness, that shooting. 96s across the board almost, except for the slap shot accuracy, which is a 97. He's actually technically better defensively than he is offensively, which I don't get, but damn, 90-point rookie season. And then Bathgate, who went 5th overall. He was the guy that went after the high top 6. Had a 42-goal rookie season. So, yeah, Edmonton made a big mistake there. Domingue was also up there. Damn. That is interesting. Let's take a look at some fun stats as well for fun. Like, I actually like the Selke candidates and all that type of thing. Most hits, Nathan Archer, 224 hits in Edmonton. Jeez. Most takeaways. So let's take a look at these Selke candidates. Yeah, it's going to be Clarence Knighty. Easily. 156 takeaways and nearly 56% on the draw. But, I mean, Derek Keith definitely is up there as well. Unfortunately, he had less faceoffs. Because we almost had another Selke for Derek Keith. He hasn't won one in quite some time, but he had the exact same faceoff win percentage, but he had like 15 less takeaways. And he had 6 fights, which is funny, but yeah, Derek Keith definitely would have been up there if it wasn't for Clarence Knighty. And so let's take a look and see if there was any goalie goals for fun too. Doubt there was though. Yeah, no goalie goals. Most goalie assists for fun, Shodin in Washington. Okay, so there is that. Man, that's unfortunate we missed the playoffs though. But we do have former players in the playoffs, so maybe one of them will win a Stanley Cup. So let's take a look at these awards and retirements and wrap up the season. And then we will definitely get set up for the offseason for next episode. But let's see if any former player ends up winning the Stanley Cup this year. If Dallas wins the Stanley Cup, we're going to have a couple former players. I don't know about these other teams. We're definitely going to have to take a look. And take a look at their Stanley Cup winning roster, whoever wins. Who is going to win the Stanley Cup in 2039 after we won our cup? The Philadelphia Flyers. So Dallas did not win the Stanley Cup. Bakersfield wins the Calder Cup. So Philadelphia, who is on your cup winning team? Is there any former players on the Philadelphia Flyers? I don't think there is, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Let's see. Nobody so far. Generous wasn't one of our picks, right? No. I remember a guy named Generous, but I don't remember if that was a different series. Wow, Dustin Dundas, what a name. Is that the guy in Colorado? No, it wasn't. Okay, I was going to say. Oh, some guys already got sent to the AHL. Hate how it does that right away. I go to the AHL for them as well, for Lehigh Valley, just in case some of these guys were on their cup-winning roster. This is playoff stats. So Lehigh Valley didn't even make the playoffs. Let's just go to Lehigh Valley regular season. Actually, I should probably just go to the contracts. You know what? Yeah, that might be easier. But that's the cup-winning Philadelphia Flyers team. We'll take a look at the awards shortly. Let me take a look at the cup-winning team no more in Philly. So let's go to Philadelphia. In the system, so Fleischman was likely there. Kolsnik. Oh, ho, ho. You guys might wonder who this is. The former teammate of Jeffrey Bouwmeester that we could have drafted. It was between the two-way and the offensive defenseman. There is Skylar Kraus. In case you guys wanted to see his career compared to Bouwmeester's. Yeah, I think we definitely made the right choice. Wow, he's a Stanley Cup champion though now, so that's interesting. Huh. That's the only player that I really recognize from that team. Okay, let's take a look at the awards and wrap up the season. Also, we'll take a look at retirement stand, like I said, take a look at the draft class, that type of thing. But let's take a look at the playoff tree first. So Anaheim got to the Cup Finals, and Dallas took it all the way to the second round where they lost to the Jets. So Harry Neal got to the Conference Finals again, and yeah, Bickle got knocked out in the second round. Same with Coscarena. Arizona got knocked out in the first round, which means Byron Farrell first round exit. Let's take a look at those awards, though. Philadelphia, the Stanley Cup champions. The Stanley Cup champions have been in the Metropolitan Division 3 of the last 5 years. Interesting. So there's that. Brashear the Art Ross. Brashear the Hart. Lawrence won the Norris, not a surprise. Zegers the Lady Byng in Washington. Lukowicz won the Calder, not a surprise, after a 50-goal rookie season. Dundas to Conn Smythe this year for Philadelphia. Harry Neal did win a Vezina, so that's pretty sick. I like that our former goalie won a Vezina. Makes me feel good that we drafted a really solid player. And he also won the Jennings. Hickey won the Masterton. Sanheim won the Jack Adams as a head coach. That's funny as shit, because I can't see Travis Sanheim as an NHL coach down the road. But he wins the Jack Adams for the Philadelphia Flyers. So I guess, yeah, he carried them to a Stanley Cup win as a head coach. Interesting. And yeah, Knighty's going to win the Selke, unfortunately. But Derek Keith definitely was second for that award, I think. The runner-up. And yeah, there you go. Frederick Bickle wins his first Maurice Richard. And yeah, Parrott had one 5 years ago. So 2 of our former players, or well, Parrott's not a former player, but 2 players that we drafted high up winning Maurice Richards. And Vihico was the best goal scorer in the AHL, so he's definitely going to be in the NHL team next season. Guys, we definitely could have used him in the NHL maybe this year, but decided to give him one more year in the AHL, and he did really well apparently. Let me actually take a look at how the AHL team did, because that's another thing I want to take a look at. Looks like he must have got called up already, but Acton had another really good season. AHL team in general had a good season. So Pusher must have had a good year. Yeah, Pusher was solid as a backup, up to a 74 at 20. And Walker's a 75 at 23. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let me take a look at the contract situation for a second, though. I do need to take a look at how good Vihico did in the AHL, because he's probably going to be on our NHL team next season. Still 78 at 22, but he's a pending RFA. He had 39 goals this year in the AHL. And, yeah, he's definitely getting a shot. Look at that shooting metrics. Holy crap. And if that offensive awareness climbs, this guy is going to be a stud. Yeah, we definitely need to give him a chance next season. No questions asked. Get him some power play time, and he might score 30 goals in the NHL at least. Okay, so that's that. Let's simulate up to retirements and all that stuff. Columbus has the first overall pick. We stay at 17. I forgot we had a draft lottery pick because I'm not used to it in this build anymore, or mode. And then Florida, LA, Detroit, and Vegas. But we stay at 17. So we're going to get a tweener pick, but maybe we'll find something steal-wise in the draft. Retirement-wise, we did not lose anybody, but we're still getting the actual EA-generated guys retiring, like Svitov, who was picked after Jorgensen. So, yeah. We're going to be getting into retirement stage soon. It's just a matter of time. Maybe next season, or as easily as next season. And yes, screw you, Yuri Kulich. He retires at 35. He knocked us out, obviously, in that Stanley Cup Finals years ago, but retires with the Montreal's AHL team. So it looks like we didn't have any retirements, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually go to our team just in case. Yeah, no retirements yet. But we're definitely going to be suffering them soon. No coach retirements. That's good. We did lose a USA Central scout, so I'm going to write that down just in case we need another USA Central scout for next episode. Okay. So let's take a look first at our contract situation, the progress reports, and then we'll take a look at the draft class, see what we could get at 17th. So, all expiring. Bobkov's still an RFA, I think for only like 2 more years though. Yeah, we should probably give him an 8-year deal while we have the chance. Denny as well. He's in the same boat. Wong is another UFA again. And he still wants around the same amount of money, so we might be able to bring him back. Bomeister probably getting qualified, which means he might be a pending Yeah, he's going to be a pending UFA at the end of this upcoming season. But, yeah, Trey Farrell, Malik Reinhart again. Lucic might be in the NHL next year, so I think we might rework our fourth line. Lucic, Sabrin, Vihico, that type of thing might be in the lineup. Wow, DeMarchi jumped up to a 76. This guy is developing quite well. You know he's 24 already. Goalie-wise, Aiden Taze is a UFA. He does not want a lot at all. Yeah, he's definitely close to retirement if he only wants like 925K. Which is unfortunate, but we do have guys on the cusp of the NHL, so... Do we bring back Taze after a bad season? I feel like he should retire with this club, but I don't know. It's up to you guys on that. So there is up for renewal. Let me go to unsigned for a second. Wow, Yansevsky's definitely getting a contract for the AHL next year. Geez, 73 at 20. Solid. Wow, really good passing stats, but the offensive awareness isn't really there yet. But yeah, that guy's going to be a good... But him next to that guy that we just looked at shooting-wise, that could be nice, really good. Huh. So there we go. Let's take a look at those progress reports. See if anybody's dropping off yet. So it looks like some statistical growth. Yeah, statistical growth for Jorgensen as well. So he's actually probably worse than an 84. Lucic is developing quite well for a 23-year-old. He's probably going to get in on the fourth line next season. Novikov actually got quite a bit of growth. Up to a... Was he always medium elite potential? I feel like he was a high starter. But he's 81 at 22 now. So that's good to see him getting development, though. A lot of other guys didn't get a lot of development. In the system-wise, Loins is up to a 59 at 20. But, wow, that defenseman we drafted is up to a 69 at 18. It's pretty good. Smith Pelly's up to a 70 at 20. Yeah, we're still getting some pretty good growth in our system, so we're still going to have a lot of guys getting into our lineup probably these last few years. So that's good. And, yeah, Pusher's up to a 76. Yeah, that's good. That is good for sure. Let's take a look at this draft class now and see what we can get at 17th overall. We have not had this high of a pick in quite some time, so it's kind of weird. Let's see, 17th. Unknown. Jesus Horton. What a name. Then there's also Jamie Ma, who looks pretty good in 2 years out. To be honest, he might end up being our pick since he's 2 years out for sure. 3 years out, so not as good probably. Staubitz, 3 years out, so probably top 6. There's a guaranteed top 6 in Mackey. I think Ma has to be our pick right now. Maybe a medium elite here. Can't really tell. Probably not. Probably top 6. Another top 4 in Reed Smith. Low elite maybe here in Leeson. Okay, now we have somebody that we might take instead. 1 year out. Dimitri Leeson. And he's AHL eligible. So I think that's definitely going to be between the two of those guys. Probably the 1 year out's definitely going to be our pick just because he's 1 year out. But that's interesting. Any low elites for later rounds? Or people we could pin for later rounds. Medium elite, two-way forward, guaranteed. Noah Pera. We'll pin him even though he's 20. Maybe Solani. Oh, wow. 14th overall, though. Damn. Right before our pick. This guy would have been a huge stud. He might be medium elite. He might be a top 4 with high potential, but still 1 year out only. Jeez. Any low elites? Let's see what we got here. Any late round low elites? The Leeson's the only one we looked at. And doesn't look like it really. Maybe this 4 year out guy. Maybe this 4 year out guy. I don't know. But I think with our first round pick, we're taking between Ma and Leeson. Probably Leeson since he's 1 year out. But like, look at him. Looks pretty good. And we go to Ma. Ma might be better balanced wise, but he's 2 years out. He's 17. Looks like he could hit. And he looks like he might be a grinder. He could be a power forward too, but probably a grinder. And then Leeson is probably a two-way forward, so somebody that could definitely help out our defense on the bottom 6. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Anchorage Ice Tigers Draft Glory franchise mode. So it kind of sucks that we missed the playoffs, but I mean, at least we have a cup, so we don't have to worry too much. Like I said before, it's just more about wrapping up these guys' careers and all that type of thing. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.